Am I the a-hole for not letting my friends use my backyard for their wedding because they don't want me to bring a +1? This is already weird, and we've only read the title. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Jamie Wolfer. I'm your online wedding planner. Before we go any further, you should probably jump on down there and subscribe, especially if you're planning a wedding. Not that we discriminate against single Pringles or the married folks. No, y'all are more than welcome to stick around too. I just, obviously, mainly what I do here is wedding planning advice. And occasionally, and by occasionally I mean about once a month, I like to read through some AITAs because there's so much about wedding planning that's honestly not even about planning the wedding. It's all about etiquette and emotions and finances, because the act of planning a wedding is not hard. And let me tell you, I have condensed perfectly exactly how you should be planning your wedding from start to finish in my online program called The Master Plan, which is where I get to be your online wedding planner. The act of planning a wedding, not hard. Everyone else and all their thoughts and opinions that come along with it, that's where things get a little dicey. So if you're planning a wedding and you're struggling either with the actual, wedding planning itself or with the emotions and finances and expectations that come along the way, definitely make sure you come join me in the master plan where I do live calls every single month to help you out, and subscribe. I already said that, but it's doubly important that you subscribe. Now, let's jump on into the meat and taters of today's Reddit situation. And I found one that already has updates included. So my usual flow is to read the initial post, give my reaction, then go to the comments, but we already have edits. Just read and figure it out as we go along, okay? Original post. Here's a situation. Last summer, I bought my grandparents' house. The house was a hangout spot for my friends and I throughout our childhood. Oh, that's so cute. This includes my friend Dave. Allegedly. The house has a sizable amount of land, which includes a lake and a gazebo. I was supposed to buy the house with my now ex-girlfriend, Leslie, but going through the process of getting approved to buy, I found out that she has massive amounts of credit card debt and personal debt that she hid from me throughout our 4 years together. I decided to break up as a result. Oh, that's so hard. That was about 6 months ago. I met Leslie because Dave's long-term girlfriend, Kim, is Leslie's cousin. Oh. Okay, this is fun. Dave and Kim are engaged and set to get married in April. When I was buying the house, they asked if they could have the ceremony at the gazebo, which I agreed to do. In December, I started dating again. Leslie is not taking this well at all. She thinks we're going to get back together and has tried multiple times to make that happen. I have told her in no uncertain terms that isn't happening. Dave and Kim have asked me to not bring a +1 to the wedding for Leslie's sake. I have told them that this request is ridiculous. This wedding is happening at my house using my land, and I'm not allowed to bring a date because of a crazy ex. If that's the case, then they need to find a new venue for the wedding. Okay. They're pissed about this, given the short time frame of when the wedding is supposed to happen. So we are at an impasse. Am I the a-hole? Okay, before we even read the edits, I'm going to give initial reactions. I think it's more of like an everyone sucks here vibe. But I get why OP has these feelings. We have a situation where OP and alleged Leslie break up. Leslie's not taking it well. She's a little persistent, keep trying to get back in there. And I understand where Dave and Kim are coming from, wanting to be like, hey, we just don't want her to cause a scene at the wedding. So I know this is awkward. I know this is uncomfortable, but is there any chance you would be willing to forego having a +1? I know you just started dating someone recently and we are excited for that journey for you. But is there any way you would consider this? We are so grateful that you're letting us use the gazebo. Again, like that compliment sandwich, right? You're awesome. You're a great friend. Thank you so much. I conveniently forgot to mention that this is going to be like a backyard wedding theme because backyard weddings are, people think they're so simple and they're not. In fact, I have several videos on it. I'll go ahead and link it right here. If you're thinking about having a backyard wedding or hosting it for someone else, you should watch those. So I don't know the spirit within which this question was asked, but I think it's pretty easy to say that OP did not receive it well, so maybe it wasn't phrased well, okay? So we'll just start with that. I understand where the couple's coming from by being like, hey, she's a little cuckoo, bananas, okay? So if you can just not, maybe that'd be so great. Be so great. But also the pendulum swing of having the homeowner, the OP here, then say, fine, if I can't bring a date, you can't have your wedding here when you've already committed to this a long time ago. I get the Leslie situation is weird. I totally understand. In fact, I'm probably going to understand even further because you use the term crazy ex. So I'm sure there's more to the edits and the updates that we're going to find out, okay? It's going to get juicier. I can already tell. But I don't know if I would have personally swung this far in the other direction. Instead of being like, hey, this actually really frustrates me and hurts my feelings. I feel like I'm extending myself a lot as your friend to have you get married on my property. And the fact that we're prioritizing your family member, Kim, over me, an old friend, who is also giving you a spot to get married at. So there's a lot of factors here, right? The fact that we're prioritizing crazy over me is really hurting my feelings. But we didn't say that. We said, if I don't get a +1, you don't get to get married here. I think when we break it down to that language, it feels a little bit more extreme. No? Okay. Edit. In bold, which makes it kind of shouty, you know? I have seen a few things brought up a number of times in the comments, so I will quickly address them here. 1, I am fully aware of the liability issues, which is why I purchased, and they reimburse me for special event insurance policy, which will provide 100% coverage for any damages, claims, injuries, etc., to any of the property or persons up to $2 million. It is one of the first things we did after I agreed to have the event in my home. There is actually this incredible insurance company that I have recently completely fallen in love with. If you're looking at wedding insurance for your event, for your wedding day, I highly recommend you check out Brightco. That's Brite. Because they have some of the best coverage I have seen in my entire career. Not only do they have coverage for the wedding day, they have coverage for 5 days. 5 days. And in addition to that, they have something called cancellation insurance with a, get this, cancel for any reason option. I'm going to go ahead and link them up there if I can or down in the description box below. But 10 out of 10, recommend. And I do highly recommend anyone who's having an event anywhere, just get some event insurance, okay? I know Brightco, their intro offer with their liability insurance is about $120. It's hard to say no when the deal is that good, okay? So just highly recommend it, especially if you are hosting it in your own home. People can make lawsuits out of just about everything. 2, the wedding will have a maximum, if everyone comes, of 75 guests, 5 catering staff, and 5 security staff. That's intense. The security is because this is an open area that anyone walking past can access. What are you anticipating? Where do you live? The house has hosted events twice the size, and logistically, it has been fine. On the property are 2 cottages, one with 1 bathroom and the other with 2 bathrooms. The only portion of my house that will not be locked during the event is the finished basement. The basement has 2 bathrooms. Okay, that gets weird, but it gets the job done. You need a minimum of 1 to 3 restrooms for every 50 guests. So at this point, we've got plenty of restrooms. Hopefully they're all within decent walking distance and they're not super far. They also need to have signage to them. If no one's been to this property before and they got to go real bad, they're doing a little piety dance, they need to be able to get there. Can you tell I have children? Goodness gracious. They need to be able to get there post haste. 3, every person who is single, i.e. not in an established relationship, received an invitation with a +1, including me and Leslie. Oh. So there I said you could have one. And everyone else is having one. Oh, okay. I'm less frustrated with OP at this point. Okay. This talk came after I sent in my return card and indicated that I was bringing a +1. Now they're saying they do not want me to have the +1 because Leslie blew up about it. And they're afraid of a blow up at the wedding. Okay. I get it. Oh, this sucks. Leslie indicated she intends to bring someone on her card. I don't know if she will actually bring someone. This is where I kind of pity the couple a little bit. I still feel like it's giving everyone sucks here vibes, but I feel really bad for the couple because they're like, listen, we do adore you and appreciate you as our friend. Leslie is family, and this would be, some people are, real quick to put up boundaries on something like this and cut that off. Other people are like, no, we need to give Leslie some time. We understand this relationship's really sensitive and it's hard for her to process. I get it. But also, I just don't think I would have responded the same way OP did. But also, OP was told, yeah, you could bring a +1. And then they're like, oh, psych. Leslie had a little mentee B when she heard, so you can't anymore. Update. It's 2 paragraphs. So I met with Dave this morning. We talked for almost 2 hours about everything. I laid it out that I thought he was at best a crummy friend. Oh, I went through a long history of various things over the years that has me questioning our friendship. That was the bulk of our conversation. Oh, okay. So we're already not on good footing. Okay. Things are already awkward. And then you decide to just pour it all out, which, sometimes a good cathartic word vom is exactly what people need. I don't know if this would have been the season for it, but then again, this is not my life. So maybe you know more than obviously it's your life. You know more than I do. We then turn to the breakup with Leslie and the S show of the last 6 months. Throughout the last 6 months, despite Leslie's craziness, I have bent over backwards to try and accommodate her feelings. She has shown up to my house in the middle of the night. I did not go for a restraining order. That was very nice of you. Oh my gosh. Are we seeing the crazy ex symptoms now? Okay. When I go out, I do not go places I know her and her family like to go. She has implied to her family and mutual friends at various times that I cheated and or that I took advantage of her financially, neither of which is true at all. I've held my tongue to not embarrass her about these things in front of her friends and family. Dave knows all that and yet is demanding once again that I put Leslie's feelings before my own. I said, you and everyone need to stop coddling her like she's an effing child. Dave concedes that Leslie has been crazy and ridiculous since the breakup, but he says she feels she did not get closure after the relationship. Oh, okay, I'm so sorry. She wants to have an evening where she can talk to you to get that closure. That's not the wedding. That's not the time. That's not the time. He also told me that Leslie has been very vigilant about paying off her debt and paid off almost $10,000 of the credit card debt. Great. Good for you. Caleb Hammer would be so proud. She wants to talk to me about her progress to see if that might cause me to change my mind. It will not. I mean, maybe if she shows up at midnight again, maybe that'll smooth things over, like really reinvigorate the love in the relationship. Have you tried? It could. I asked him, so do you expect me to go to the wedding and talk to her? Because I have her blocked everywhere, and date or not, I do not plan to say a single mumbling word to her. He said, I fully expect she would lose it if y'all don't talk at the wedding. I told him if that's the case, then for the good of my property, I can't have Leslie come. Oh, I'm glad we read this update, because if she's going to go absolutely bananas, we can't have her there. Because we don't know what that means. It could just be loud. It could just be hollering, or it could be like something bigger than that. If she is so unstable that I need to be coerced into a conversation with her, she is too unsafe to be a guest in any capacity in my home. So I told him, based on what he has told me, Leslie cannot come to my house or on my land. I am willing to still have the wedding at my place, but I cannot trust Leslie won't do something given what you are telling me. Okay, this is a different vibe than the beginning, okay? This is less of an everyone sucks here. I'm 100%, mostly, almost 100% with OP now. Dave lost it at this point. He said, F you and your S. Did you like my censoring? I don't need it. So I said, then the wedding is off. He left. So that's the state of things. Okay. OP's been very reasonable. OP has probably been too gracious in a lot of these situations, especially because Leslie's out there just smearing this person's name left and right. Cheated on me, took advantage of me financially, yada, yada, yada. It sounds like Leslie's really, really, really unhealthy, and perhaps a pathological liar. Perhaps if we have this many instances of not being truthful, this is awkward and uncomfortable. Wow, 30,000 upvotes and 1,700 comments. So before we jump into the comments, what do you think? What's the vibe you're getting here? Because my opinion shifted from the beginning where I was like, oh, OP should be a little bit more understanding to, oh, OP should probably really follow through with that restraining order. I don't think a wedding is the night to have this kind of conversation. I think if Leslie is so desperate for closure and Dave and Kim really want to support that journey for her, they should talk to OP and say, hey, we don't want things to go down at the wedding. Is there any chance you would be willing to talk to Leslie beforehand to minimize anything that could happen? And I know a lot of you out there are getting ready on your keyboards to be like, Leslie needs to be cut out. Listen, to each his own when it comes to family. Sometimes people let people behave like this. Sometimes they put up boundaries. Obviously, they're not putting up boundaries. And we don't know the full extent of Leslie crazy. But if OP is saying she's lucky I didn't get a restraining order. Are there more instances of this? We don't know. So we can't speak for what the family is doing or what they should be doing because they're not. So then OP has a choice here. But that would have been a better way of navigating this. Can you please go meet at a neutral location? I will be there to help moderate. I can't imagine my wedding day without you. We also feel really obligated to invite her because she's family. We don't know what to do. So where do you land on this? Are you comfortable having that conversation? And that's where Dave and Kim could really show that they're prioritizing OP's feelings. But, clearly OP already has this feeling of you've been a really terrible friend for years. So, I don't really know if I want this anymore. And maybe they're just looking for a reason to cut the wedding. BookGeek 1987 says, well, I think one of your key takeaways from this is that you need to start living your life. Stop avoiding places you normally go to. Clarify to people why you broke up, not that you cheated, and put together any evidence of her crazy behavior so you can get a restraining order if needed. That might be prudent. Maybe some security cameras. Again, we are hoping for the best, planning for the worst, right? You also need to tell people why the wedding isn't happening at your place, as you know they're going to make you out to be the bad guy. And I think OP has proven time and time again that they're not really interested in going out there and defending their name left and right. I don't think they're going to go out of their way to be like, here's exactly why I canceled on them. If they have friends that are there, they're probably fully aware of this situation. If they have friends that care and want to get to the bottom of this, they'll come to OP and be like, what happened? What's going on? Can we help? Is everything okay? Instead of, I don't know. I'm kind of split on this because I can understand wanting to defend yourself. But at the same time, OP is not shown a penchant for wanting to do that. So I'd be surprised if they reacted in this manner. This times 100. OP, there's no need for you to keep doing what you're doing. The whole group, including parents, needs all the details about what happened and what is still happening. If she shows up at your house again, call the police and have her trespassed. Too bad about Dave. He sounds like a big a-hole. You're better off without him in your life. All of this, OP needs to stop protecting everyone else's feelings and reputation and focus on protecting his own before these a-holes completely destroy it. Yeah, I mean, this is why I really enjoy the Enneagram test, because it teaches you a lot about your own personality. And I think there are just some people who are not, they're not fussed with this. They're like, you could say whatever you want about me. It's fine. I know who I am. I don't need other people's opinions and to define who I am, and if they really want to know, they can come talk to me. So it's just a matter of like how your personality would handle something like this. To add, the day of the wedding is not the time to get closure, and at the wedding is not the place to get closure. Your friends are okay with her hijacking their ceremony so she can sleep better at night? Yeah, that would be a big not happening. Any of it from me. It sounds like they're prioritizing Leslie's feelings over your rights as the homeowner. That's not true. There's nothing written in law that says if you host a wedding at your home, you are legally entitled to a +1. Okay, this is more the etiquette side of things. This is more the awkwardness of rescinding a +1 invite. That's where like the etiquette of wedding invitations and the planning part comes in this. But this is not your rights as a homeowner. I'm sorry. There's 146 more replies to that. I'm not even touching that. But the fact that this is 5,500 upvotes is wild to me. As someone who just got married and was friends with the best man's ex, she didn't get invited because I didn't trust she wouldn't cause drama, especially with alcohol involved. In doing the guest list, my opinion was the person who was more likely to cause the drama is the one who doesn't get invited. What a novelty. It's especially BS in this situation where it's his home they're using. I'd be bending over backwards to accommodate the person letting me use their home as my venue since it's often the most expensive part of the wedding. With friends like Dave, who needs an enemy? BS. He wants you and Leslie to get back together. Oh no. You said nothing unreasonable. The point is not that she is paying her bills now. The point is she lied to you and hid this debt for 4 years. That's the issue. That is crazy. Your so-called friend is siding with her. He all but tried to coerce you into talking to her at the wedding. They can find another venue if she is that darn important. That fact did not even cross my mind. And now I'm like, Dave wants OP and Leslie to get back together because Leslie is driving him nuts and he wants rid of her. It's not a bad take. Leslie should not be allowed anywhere on your property. I think I agree with this. Your supposed friends should have understood that, but instead wanted you to not have your girlfriend there so to not upset Leslie, who shouldn't be on your property in the first place. It's good that the wedding will not be happening on your property. You may need security cameras to make sure they don't get revenge on you by damaging your property. That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking more because, Leslie's crazy. Well, allegedly. Wow, still not the a-hole. He isn't a friend to you. I think you need to cut him off and have that be it. Purple Puffer P. Some of these names. I can't. Dave has shown you his true colors. Believe him. He doesn't give a crap about you, your sanity, or your safety. Don't waste a second longer on him. I think it's time for a little trip to North Carolina. Maybe a permanent move, okay? I get so sad in situations like this. So many people talk about how they I've heard it from so many couples, both online, the master plan, and with my clients. that the wedding planning brings the crazy out of people. And you're like, I didn't know my mom was going to be so obsessive about this. I didn't know my dad was going to have such a strong opinion about this. I didn't know I would like lose friends over this. I didn't know that I would have difficult conversations. I didn't understand that any of this would happen. And it does. And because it really does bring out when people are stressed and when there's a lot of money on the line, it brings out occasionally people's true colors. Occasionally it just also brings out them in their stressed state. And that's not necessarily their true colors, but this is just like what happens when they're purely panicking. Yeah. So what do you think? Is OP the a-hole in this situation? Let me know. This has already been a really long video, but I have another one that I want to read with updates, I believe. So a lot of you have asked for longer AITA videos. This is my attempt at one of those. So y'all better stick around, jump down there, hit the like button, and subscribe, okay? Because I know I've literally had comments be like, you could do hour-long videos of these and I would be perfectly content. Well, I think I've been filming for 30 minutes so far. Obviously, with edits, it's going to be cut down quite a bit, but this is going to be a long one, okay? Okay. So if you're not subscribed, I'm not going to do anything, but it's going to make me really sad. The baby's napping, and this is where I choose to dedicate my time to create videos for you instead of like doing laundry. Actually, I'd way rather be doing this than laundry, let's be honest. Am I the a-hole for not letting my sister use the family property for her upcoming wedding? Did you feel the air quotes on that one? Inconclusive. Oh, okay. Interesting. I'm not the OOP. There's where the thread is. Originally posted to Am I the a-hole? Trigger warning. Entitlement. I feel like we're using trigger warnings a little too liberally. There is a time and place for them. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Original post. I am 25. My sister is 29. I also have a younger sister, 8. When I was 14, my mom sent me to live with her parents. Her excuse was that they needed me to help out. I believe she just didn't want to deal with a growing male teen. Oh. I could not imagine sending my son away. That's really sad. I could not imagine sending my son away. That's really sad. I mean, maybe they did need help, but like I don't, like, we homeschool. I love being around my kids. I think they're some of the coolest humans on the planet. I could not imagine sending them to live with somebody else. But I also understand that our circumstance is not everyone else's. My grandparents owned an amazing property in the mountains that had an amazing view. We also had some horses and other critters. They were also quite wealthy as well. They both passed 4 years ago, a month apart. Oh, that's sad, but kind of sweet. They gave me the property because I would appreciate and respect it more, while my mother and sisters got money and other assets overall valued more than the property. In the past 4 years, I turned part of the property into a venue for mainly weddings. Grandparents knew of this idea and thought it was a good one. What a sweet way to honor their memory. Well, I guess it's their property. I don't know if it's technically honoring their memory, but we'll call it that so it sounds more romantic. Okay. We are busy and usually booked about 8 months out. My sister got engaged a year and a half ago and said she wasn't to get wanted, probably the word we're going to, wanted to get married at the property. I said yes, just let me know the date as soon as possible so I can make sure it is booked. I never got a date. Oh no, I feel like I know where this is going. I followed up several times and kept asking her, and she would brush me off. We're just gonna take a little mini baby side rant, okay? I have had this experience with persons close to me when I'm trying to give wedding planning advice that they've requested, okay? It's not unsolicited. They're asking for help or for input. Very rarely with a client. Very rarely with someone who comes in and pays my full rate and understands and has like researched wedding planners and wants to work with me specifically. This doesn't happen with them. It's the people that watch me grow up. Or the people that I've known for a really long time, like since before I became a wedding planner, which, mind you, was 10 years ago, okay? We're on a decade of this business, right? So I'm like, I will give advice, and they'll go, yeah, I'm not really worried about it. There was a specific situation where I was concerned about teardown, and the person that I was working with said, we have people. And I said, who are those people? Can I have their numbers? And this was probably a year or two into my business. I'm like, can I just have their numbers so I can be in contact with them so we can make sure that we've got, everything that you need so you don't have to stress for your big day. And I'm offering all of this for free, by the way, all of it for free. Showed up days early, helped with setup. I was several weeks postpartum. It was not a good idea. I should not have been doing it. And guess what? You already know what happened. The people to help tear down they never showed up. So my family and I spent 2 hours the following day. This was a backyard wedding at a friend's property. They weren't even in the state at the time, and there was no one to go in and tear it down. And so we went and did it for them. So we did that for 2 hours, and we still had to drive like whatever. So the trying to be like, hey, sis, I need to know when you want your event booked. Hey, I need a date from you. Hey, it's almost like automatically she is like dismissing the importance of this. She's like, oh, I mean, I know you say you're busy, but could you be that busy? I don't really think so. I don't think so. So the automatic dismissal of the professional in this situation of not securing the wedding date really grinds my gears, which is why I always take everything with a grain of salt when working with family members or friends, because, you know, it's up to them if they choose to listen to my advice in these categories. They don't have to, but I might know what I'm doing. I never got a date. I followed up several times and kept asking her, and she would brush me off. 2 weeks ago, I got the wedding invitation stating the property's location and the date, which is in September of this year. I immediately called her to say that we have booked for that date and can't accommodate her. Wait, this is written in June, and they sent out invitations saying in September of this year they would be, and I'm not sure. Okay. Well, now her, my mom, other family, and her partner's family, as well as other flying monkeys, have been blowing up on me. They are also calling me and writing reviews for my business. Ooh, that's a deeper level of toxicity than I was anticipating. That's awful. I asked them to stop and call my sister, telling her that I literally, all she had to do was tell me when she knew her date so I could block it, and I would take care of everything else. She went off on how I'm ruining her day. It's our family's property. How she already sent out the invitations and couldn't go back now. I should just tell the other couple to cancel. They have been on the books for over a year now. And I actually like them. Because if you didn't, you'd be like, oh, so sorry. No, don't do that. That's rude. Family is more important. After the last big blow up, I started communicating strictly through the business, using our recorded line as well as email. I suggested 3 other dates around the same time, but that's not good enough. Quote, I'm being resentful and an a-hole. Resentful of what? Too long, didn't read. I own a property / popular wedding venue property. It is popular. If you're booked 8 months in advance, it is absolutely popular. Congratulations on your success in the last 4 short years. That's incredible. That's huge. That my sister wants to get married on, but she didn't tell me the dates until a few months before. It's booked for the day she wants. She already sent out invitations, how I found out. Since I won't cancel the other couple's reservation, I'm being called an a-hole. This is obviously, with my little side rant that you heard a little bit ago, this is something that I deeply relate to OP on this situation. You can do your best to lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Like, you asked multiple times, and it's not your job to follow up. It's not your job to pursue the client like this. I mean, some people do. Usually if I don't hear back from a potential client, I don't really pursue them very hard. A lot of people in the industry will call this ghosting. I don't mind it. It does really bother some vendors. So if you feel like you want to follow up and be like, hey, we've gone a different direction, you totally can. But usually if I don't hear a response from someone, either they didn't like my pricing or they found somebody else or they chose not to have a planner. And I don't take any of that personally. Somehow I always end up getting the best clients anyways. So it works out in the end. So it's not the brother's responsibility to continue to follow up, especially when his sister was like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll get you. We haven't decided. I'll figure it out later. Just that attitude is a clear lack of respect for how hard OP has been working on this business and how serious this business already is. Maybe his sister still sees him as that 14-year-old boy that got, sent away because they stopped growing up together at a certain point. I don't know. Or I'm not sure. There's clearly more to this family dynamic than we can even be able to unpack. All of it would be conjecture because we just don't know. Although I do feel like the Redditor comments are going to jump in and make assumptions about the family anyways, even though we can't really base a lot off this. All we know is something's going on, and this is not the happiest and or healthiest of relationships. But for me, it's the complete lack of respect for the seriousness of his business that really gets me, especially when he was continuing to pursue her to figure this out. Edited to add, thank you all for the overwhelming response. I thought I was going crazy. Okay, good. So the Redditors are on his side. I'll try to respond to people later when I have some time. Thank you for the advice and responses. Edited to add number 2. Wow, there's no possible way I can respond to everyone. I have been taking notes about what people are saying and will go through the process as I have time, most likely Monday. I plan on getting in contact with a couple and see if I can take them to dinner or something to explain the situation. What does that mean? I'm thinking of giving them a discount, getting a guest list, and being tight on security on our part. Oh, is this affecting your current couples? Oh, well, I mean, I wonder if you're getting like a deluge of bad reviews, if your current couples are like, yikes, what's happening, bro? Are we okay? I don't want to do this anymore. That's so damaging for this guy's business. Oh, gosh. Edit number 3. I'm so blown away by the responses. This is coming weeks, Nate. This coming week is going to be busy. Probably won't update until most of everything is settled, but I am going to reach out to the couple, have a sit down with my sister as well as my mom. I have a meeting with a lawyer later this week. And finally, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to name my business for reasons. Thanks for the offers of writing good reviews, but I can't accept it. I like to earn everything I have or am given. I have made a lot of contacts in this business and am now having to call on them to help me out. Just do me a favor, be kind to everyone, show love, compassion, and respect. Verdict, not the a-hole. And okay, so they've handpicked some relevant comments for us. You can tell I don't read like Reddit or update versions very often. Okay, thoughts. Yeah, I feel like this guy's doing everything he can. And I think lawyering up is really smart. I don't know how pertinent security would be in a situation like this because I don't know what would happen if a bunch of people showed up. I mean, I guess if guests are there and you're like, oh, hey, the event's not happening here. Like it's not happening. I'm so sorry you have not been updated. It's happening elsewhere. That would warrant security. But if you're really concerned that your sister's going to show up and crash it and like try to get ready there and try to have her event there, then we're talking a whole nother level of crazy. So I do think getting a lawyer involved would be the wisest. I commiserate with OP so hard. You've worked so hard to build up this business and you've tried really hard to accommodate your sibling who didn't understand the full extent of what you do and why it was so important and didn't care to listen when you tried to explain it or when you kept trying to follow up for a date. Relevant comments. Your mom had to be the one filling her head with, it's fine, it's our property, we can use it whenever we want. What? No, we don't know that. I have no doubt that my mom is the one filling her head. She definitely has the mentality of what's hers is hers and what's mine is hers. Oh, okay. So we do know that because OP obviously confirmed that. That's grody. I'm sorry. Okay. If you're going to send your kid away, it could be for financial reasons. It could be for emotional reasons. It could be because maybe he was acting out as a teen. It could be because the grandparents actually really did need help. I don't know. But if you're going to send your child away and then decide to step in and act like you share this commonality that he clearly earned, right? He showed up. He was probably caring for the horses. He's probably doing chores around the property. Like, we have a homestead. We have horses and goats and chickens and dogs and cats, and it takes work. My children do chores around the property. They're paid for all of the animal chores, any of the homestead property chores. They do earn an allowance for those. Not that I need to like explain myself, but just want to make sure, like, okay, whatever. So it kind of feels like I'm not going to raise you, but I'm entitled to everything you have. I don't like that. Oh yeah, sis and mom should know better. It's possible sister never moved out of the house at 18 though. Hopefully OP updates us about this. My family had a lot of siblings raising each other, basically single parent home because my dad was rarely around. And that does grow a lot of resentment, but it also grows a sense of responsibility. Sister never even giving OP the wedding date despite multiple attempts of communication is why I doubt this is a situation where sister raised him until he was 14, so more favoritism. OP then says, I don't want to get into it too much, but my older sister didn't raise me at all. I was basically alone from age 10-ish to when I was relocated. She also didn't move out until about 4 years ago, so 21. Oh, this makes me so sad. Oh. OP added to a commenter, so we don't see the original comment. Does she have caterers booked with a menu, efficient, DJ, decorations, deposits? Or is she thinking that you were doing this and paying for all of it too? Has she talked with any of them and booked them? OP says, honestly, I have no idea. I need to go back and make sure if anything is booked for that day already is for the actual couple. I need to call the other couple and possibly have a sit down face to face with them. As with my sister, she hasn't told me much. I'll try to see if I can get my little sister to be a mole for me to gather information. Info to add, my little sister and I have a good relationship. She spends time with me and loves my horses, so it should be easy to convince her. I mean, I don't think it's ideal to get an 8-year-old to do your dirty work, but also, I can't say I don't understand where OP's coming from in this situation. I just don't know if I would want to send, like my son will be 8 next month. I just don't know if I'd want to send him into the trenches. But that little man hears everything, okay? It's because he just is always around. So he's like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? Well, to be fair, so are my two 15-year-olds. 3 weeks later, mods blocked the update. So I hope people see this. There's an original with the link there if you want to go do a deep dive and read through the comments. Thank you for all your love, comments, and opinions. It's quite overwhelming. It has been busy. So sorry it took so long. Also, what's with the aggressive writing in all caps in the comments? Listen, all caps means yelling. This reminds me of when my mom used to add LOL to the end of everything because she thought it meant lots of love. If it's caps, it's yelling. And she did that too. She wrote things in all caps for a minute. My brother was like, why are you yelling at me? She's like, I'm not. First, I would like to say that I did leave out a bunch of background information and history between my family and I. People had concerns about the comment I made about my little sister and putting her in the middle of things. I didn't end up asking her, but she still helped me out. No. In regards to the other couple booked that day, I will not/did not cancel on them. Good, because your wording earlier was a little bit like, why are you meeting with them? Unless, obviously, as I assumed, you wanted to kind of warn them of the things, the happenings. I invited them out to the property and to a nice dinner. We had a good time and I explained what was happening. I said I would not cancel on them. I offered added security, requested a guest list, a main point of contact for guest questions, and a discount for just in case things happen. They understood and accepted the new terms/offer. I don't know if I would have gone as far to offer a discount. That's in case things should happen. That's almost... that personally, I would not take it that far as a wedding vendor, but if you feel content with that, then great. I do have a lawyer. I had her send cease and desist letters to my sister, mother, and the friends and other family members who were making false reviews and talking bad about my business. That went over well. Sarcasm. She also said not to share my details to get better reviews. Good, so we're all on the same page here. I'm just so sad that this happened. On to my sister and mom. I told them both that this is my property. Oh, sorry, all caps. I told them both that this is my property. Because clearly that's yelling, right? There is no our and is not the family property. It is mine. I told them under no circumstances were they allowed to show up on the date of question. I had offered several different solutions, all of which were rejected. All I asked in the beginning was for an immediate response when they figured out a date they wanted to get married. If this was any other venue and they did this, it would not work. Correct. Just because I'm running it, it doesn't give them special treatment or priority. They argued. I shut them down. If they want to have her wedding here, call for a date. Now, my younger sister was able to find the invitation list and send it to me. I guess my older sister left her computer open. Oh no. All of the people that RSVP'd, I sent an email/text saying the venue is not where the wedding will be set as it was never reserved under bride and groom's name. Ooh, I don't know if I would have gone that far, but if you feel good about your decision, sir, then have at it. The groom reached out to me and asked if I was serious about her not reserving the date. Oh, snap. Are you also hiding loads of debt, ma'am? Apparently, she told his side that she, quote, had it covered and to, quote, not worry about it. He also apologized and mentioned that they knew the date for over a year now. He said he has a lot to think about. That's so rude. That's so rude. Oh, now since that talk and everything is quiet and I'm scared. Usually when my sister is quiet, one of two things happens. Oh, goodness. 1, it's about to get painful. 2, eruption is imminent. Buddy, I'm so sorry. That's all for now. I'll keep y'all updated. I'm not sure when I'll update, but this is not over. Also, sorry for the people asking for my venue details. I don't want to share it here due to me trying to keep my anonymity. Also, I'm in North America. Too long, didn't read. Shut sister down. The other couple made happy. Future brother-in-law has a lot to think about. It's suspiciously quiet. This is a repost sub. I am not the OOP. Do not contact the OOPs or comment on linked posts. Remember, rule number 7. I don't know. I don't read the Reddit rules. Okay. So before we jump into the comments, yeah, obviously let me know your thoughts. I've shared plenty of them. This is just the finding out that she lied and said it was covered, finding out that they've known this date for over a year. They either don't see this guy as a grown adult or a business professional, or respect what he's saying. I think that even if you stopped growing up with each other at a certain point, if you respected him, you would listen to him when he says, hey, as a professional, like we're booked 8 months out. I need plenty of notice. So as long as you give me a minimum of 8 months, I can make it happen. I can make literally any date you want happen. If you're a little bit more flexible, I mean, honestly, they probably could have gotten a little closer, maybe booked it 6 months out. But if this guy's saying 8 months, he means 8 months. He's been doing this for 4 years. He's not new to this. I mean, he's newer, but he's not brand new to this. Also, again, you're never going to see this video, but congratulations. I am so happy for your success, especially in spite of not having support from your immediate family. And then I do truly hope that you had an incredible relationship with your grandparents. And I'm really glad that you got the property. And I'm so glad that people get to enjoy getting married there. Now, to the comments. I don't get it. If you knew the date for a year, how does no one just tell him? Especially when he was asking them the whole time. It would require literally less effort to just say one time, oh, it's September 17th. And then boom, done. No more questions and everything can proceed. Is this some weird power play? I don't understand. I don't either. Because to me, like, if you knew, why didn't you just say something? On one of the numerous times that he followed up, why didn't you just say something? Unless it was a power play. I could be missing something here. Feel free to correct me in the comments, but this is weird. This person replies, it was a weird power play. Despite OOP being very blasé about it, it's not normal for a 14-year-old to go off and live with their grandparents. Something went down for that to happen, and I'd assume given OOP isn't mentioning it, he either doesn't know or has internalized it as normal when it isn't. That's not true. Shut your fingers. Just because he's not sharing it doesn't mean he's not aware of it. And he's blasé about it because he doesn't want to get into it. He's made it clear that he has worked really hard for what he has in life. And so I think for him, it's like, I don't need you hearing my childhood sordid story or however happy or however not happy it was. That doesn't have relevance to me handling this in like a professional manner. I'm just trying to figure out if I was the a-hole here. You don't need to hear about my childhood to define whether I was an a-hole or not in this situation. So to say that like he has internalized it as normal, we don't know that. This is why Reddit gets me angry sometimes. Given the future brother-in-law's response and OOP's caution around his sister, my guess is that it's the sister and mother and something about them. Anyway, it was a weird power play to prove that OOP had to obey. Also, can we just say oop instead? Had to obey their directives regardless of what it cost him. Except Oop is an adult who has been out of their control since he was 14. I would argue maybe since 10. And he didn't fall in line. So now consequences have happened and they can't keep a secret because Oop got in contact with every single RSVPing guest, including family members, with what happened. That's where, like, I don't know if I would have personally crossed that line. That feels a little strong for me, in my opinion. But again, Enneagram. We all have different personalities. So we're going to process these things differently. Yeah. Ugh. Eruption is imminent. Absolutely. Some people, when they monumentally F up, are fundamentally incapable of taking responsibility. Look, I get it. Sometimes you just F up and forget something. That snowballs. Especially if you have depression, anxiety, ADHD, or the like. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's so hard to get a task done for me mentally because it feels like the jump ropes are already going. Like the double dutch has already started and I have to jump in. And so mentally I have to remind myself that like that's not happening. I can just step. I can just walk forward, but it feels like the wheels are already in motion or I missed my shot or I missed that window. Or it's a certain time of the day, so I can't do this anymore because I should have done it earlier. That idea of the double dutch happening is hard. And that might be a really good mental picture for some people here. There could be a situation like that, right? But we have enough context to know that it's not. That sister just kept dismissing him. 10-1 says future brother-in-law breaks it off. Sister loses her stuff. Mom enables sister, and they end up doing something worthy of a restraining order and or a 3 a.m. fist fight at Waffle House. What a beautifully clear word picture. She didn't forget to book it. Mom and her just thought little brother would roll over and obey them. I mean, it does sound like that. Given what Oop said about mom earlier, like mom, yeah, she definitely has this mentality. What's hers is hers and what's yours is hers. And probably told sister, don't worry about it. Like he'll make whatever date work. Sounds like mom and sister don't really have a healthy relationship. Sounds like they're not healthy in general, but they also don't really have a healthy relationship. I mean, it was a year and a half ago, so I assume any blow up would have happened by now. Well, I don't know. Wow. If you know the date, book the venue. That's basic stuff. I can't believe someone who sabotaged themselves that hard. How did they have the date? My venue told us what days they had open. We picked one, then we had a date, and everything else came after. Yeah, you can't really set a date without having a venue. You can have a soft hold on a date in your mind, but it's usually not the best idea to send out invitations unless you've like literally booked the venue. Generally speaking. It's one thing to send out save the dates would be like, hey, hold this date in this city. General location. Okay, cool. It's another thing to send out an invitation with the address of the location on it. Anyways, That's all we have for today's video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. What a riveting pair of conversations to have. If you are offering your property to somebody, please protect yourself with wedding insurance. I'm begging you. Please do it. For $120? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So I highly encourage you to check out Brightco. I'll leave them linked in the description box. Backyard weddings are time consuming. They are a lot. And usually someone signs up for it thinking, yeah, I'll just host some people. Just throw them out in the backyard. It'll be totally fine. And it's a lot more than that. So if you haven't checked out the backyard wedding videos, I will also leave that playlist linked in the description. If you haven't done so already, jump on down there, which you should have done earlier before we started the second story, but I'm going to give you an opportunity again to jump on down there, hit that like button, and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride. And until next week, bye guys.